Welcome back, you beauties. You are live with Expresso, and what a day it has been. The only thing we haven't touched on, surfing. So let's complete that circle and we jump into the World Surf League, where Aardt Brooks made history in Fiji as the first Canadian to win a championship tour event. Quite surprising to me. And with the WSL Final Fives locked in, focus will shift to the Lexus WSL Finals. While, of course, the junior surfers prepare for those key qualifiers in Buffalo City and Nelson Mandela Bay. And, of course, Bianca van Aardt, the WSL Africa Media Manager, joins us to unpack the circuit. I love it. I love how happy you get when I just say the word surfing, and I know we are a surf-mad set here. There are a lot of guys and gals who like to get out in the water. I love it. But we are talking about the tip of the spear surfing right now, and this is where the magic is happening. And for Canada, a massive moment in history. Aardt Brooks, it's surprising to me that this is the first Canadian to achieve this kind of honor. What kind of impact will this have in the country, do you think, and on the league as a whole?
Well, it's a very interesting story, actually. Texas-born, Hawaii-raised, but her grandfather was born in Montreal. So she actually swapped citizenship about 3 years ago to Canada in order to try and qualify for the Olympics. She didn't make it for the Olympics because of Canada's citizenship backlog. So she's Canadian, I think officially, but she actually couldn't compete in the Olympics as a Canadian. But she got selected as a wild card for the Fiji Pro, which just happened. And as 17 years old, she, as a wild card in a championship tour event, you get pitted against the best. So you immediately surf against the number 1, the number 2 seeded surfers in the event. So she literally had the toughest journey to get there. And she won as a 17-year-old wildcard. That's really big, as a wildcard to win a championship tour event. But as a 17-year-old girl coming up against the best in the world, she surfed against the Olympic silver medalist, Tatiana Weston-Webb, and she beat her. And I think what was really significant about it is this is a moment that kind of defines the generational shift in women's surfing on the championship tour at the moment. This is the changing of the guard. It's the young girls coming in and showing the veterans how it's done. And another thing is she came in as a wild card with none of that pressure of the final 5 on her shoulders. So she was the one out there having the most fun.
And I would imagine after the year that she's had to let go of a lot of things and maybe get out of her own way just a little bit, which you often talk about in sport. Sometimes you've got to find that sweet spot. Well done, young lady. Absolutely cool, because we know what that means for her generation of surfers as well. When we talk about Cloudbreak, why is this such an iconic kind of name within the surf league? Obviously a bit of a break, 7 years, I think, or a bit of a hiatus. What impact does this space have?
Similar to the wave that they just surfed in Olympics Tahiti. It's a left-hander, it's a barreling wave over a shallow reef, but it's just such a special place. There's just a magic about Tavarua Island and Fiji, and everyone always loves going back there. So it was really great to have Fiji back on the tour stop. Conditions were a little bit tricky, dealt with a lot of wind, which made it a bit more difficult. So there weren't as many tube rides on offer, but Aardt just did so good, like finding the barrel sections, getting 2 7-point rides in the final to take the win. But shout out also to Gabriel Medina, who is just on fine form once again. Griffin Colapinto just doing really well. And yeah, it was still an exciting event, and now we're heading into the WSL Final 5.
So break that down for us. Is there an out-and-out favourite? How are you feeling about the Final Fives and how this is all going to play out?
So very quickly, basically it's the top 5 and top 5 women and men that get selected to go compete in a one-day event at Lower Trestles in California. What makes it really interesting is that basically, number 5 surfs against number 4, and whoever wins surfs against number 3. So top favourites are definitely going to be number 1, Caitlin Simmers and John Florence, who are basically they only have to surf 2 heats to be able to win the title.
Wow.
But Caitlin, I think, is in a really good spot because, she's one of those young generation surfers coming up. She's absolutely wowing everyone with her talent, and she is just doing it so humbly and grounded.
She's got the momentum.
She's so young, but she's from California, so it's home break. She's got that advantage. John Florence, so good to see him back at the top. I really hope he can do it, but also I think Griffin Colapinto, who's second, also from California, he's also going to be one to beat. And then Caroline Marks is second as well. She's a defending world champion, and she won at Lower Trestles last year. So it's going to be a big battle.
Well, they're all going to believe that they can do it, or that they must do it. But I love the fact that it can boil down to just 2 surfs.
Yeah.
And that in itself is an additional massive amount of pressure.
You can win it or lose it in just 30 to 60 minutes or so.
I absolutely love it. Oh, we don't have time to get into the juniors, but we'll continue this conversation. I know it's going to be a very exciting couple of weeks. Thank you so much for being our plug-in. That's why we had to bring her inside our own family so we can stay plugged in. But an incredible opportunity, and I love the fact that, yes, young surfers are putting up their hands right now. Now, time to get back into those official duties with the news and then some sports headlines.